So this is getting real now. Prince Harry telling friends he wants to move back to the UK part-time. No, thank you. As the veil falls off his relationship with Meghan Markle. And now we have major media figures like Calvin McKenzie, former editor of The Sun, openly predicting that this union just ain't gonna last. Oh, Calvin. Calvin, you're a good friend of mine. Look, I don't want the marriage to go pop because then we're going to have this whiny little wanker back in the United Kingdom, back demanding security paid for by us. No, honestly, part of me thinks the best possible punishment for the Duke of Delusion after accusing the British royal family of being racist, after making the late Queen Elizabeth II's dying days a misery, after putting Prince Philip through God knows what on his deathbed. Part of me thinks the best punishment for him, Calvin, is to actually have to live in perpetuity with one of the worst women to ever exist. But what is now absolutely clear is that Prince Harry's team are attempting to, how do you put it, reverse Megxit. The Megxit that I first revealed in January 2020. What's interesting is that Alison Boshoff of the Daily Mail is now pushing this narrative via the mainstream media. But there has been, and Alison admits this, and remember she was speaking to Harry's team before the change and now after the change, there has been a total 180 in terms of how he talks about his desire to return to the UK. While Harry and Meghan demand special treatment and attack the royals, the mainstream media still protects them. On Outspoken, I call it out with no bias. So subscribe right now for the full story every day. Please. We haven't enjoyed it, and we do not forget it, and we will not forget it. Okay? And we're not going to forgive either. Because you can't bring the late Queen Elizabeth II back and allow her to live her last couple of years in peace. Likewise, Prince Philip. However, there is a wider plan at play, and that is still to unveil. Archie and Lily on UK soil during the Invictus Games next year. World YouTube sensation P. Diner with me now. P. Diner, isn't it interesting when the mainstream media catches up and feels, I guess, a little bit braver in the case of the Daily Mail after their courtroom victory, and all of a sudden they're reporting a lot about Prince Harry's misery, about the total separation within this marriage that we have been across for many months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've seen this building for a number of years, and we are already here knowing what's going to happen. We knew this was going to happen. At least, I know I've been talking about it because this is the natural progression for someone who has gone about things the way Harry and Meghan have. I mean, you look at how they wanted to leave the UK because of racism, because of not being protected. Oh, let's go over now to America and get, all these opportunities off of our royal titles. And then now America is not warming to them anymore. Okay, let's leave America. People don't like it. Let's go down back to the UK. Well, newsflash, the people in the United Kingdom still don't like you. Like, why would you even go back to the UK? The problem here, Dan, is they are not having their coming to Jesus moment about the problem being them and trying to change who they are. What are you going to do? Just pick up and leave whenever it gets, bad for you? This is not a good life for your children. You're certainly not living the kind of life that's helping you, get some stability by learning something and understanding, you're the reason for all of your problems. And so now we're all talking about it. We know what's going to happen. I don't know how Harry is going to live part-time in the UK. It's a mess. It's a mess. And I just really feel sorry for the real royals, Catherine and William, because now they are going to have to deal with, the influx of the things that Harry's going to be doing now in their playground. This is not going to be good for the real royals. Okay, this is a disaster for them. I just don't see how they think they're going to have another shot in the UK because things have not changed for them. They have gotten worse for them in the UK. How can you want to come back?
And P. Diner, do you think this explains his total craven obsession with the security battle. Because, of course, as soon as he gets that, he feels that he can travel in and out as much as he wants to live this sort of part-time life where he can spend as much time away from Meghan as humanly possible.
I just think he's trying to compete with his brother. He's trying to have what his brother has. And yeah, getting this security is going to allow him a lot more flexibility, but that's not going to change. From what I've seen, he's not going to get what he wants. So why is this even still an issue? Because Harry is just going to nag and nag until he gets what he wants, right? And I just don't see that happening. He has to grow up. He's just going to make life really miserable for people that want to, show him you got to put a stop to this spoiled behavior. You got to kind of roll with the program that we have. And if you don't want to do that, then just go live your life the way you want to live it. But he wants to come back and to really make his problems everyone else's problems. And that's just not okay. There needs to be a stop to Harry and his man-child behavior.
Is Megxit officially pulling a total Uno reverse? Reports are dropping left and right that Prince Harry is quietly plotting a semi-permanent return to the United Kingdom. But here's the kicker. He might be doing it alone, as relentless reports of a professional separation and deep-seated marriage misery reach a boiling point. From emergency summits in London to high-stakes family teas at Highgrove House, the narrative surrounding the Sussexes has drastically shifted. America's appetite for their brand is cooling, multi-million-dollar deals are evaporating, and sources claim the couple is completely disconnected on what success actually looks like. So, is Harry using their new base in Portugal as a stepping stone back to Britain? And is this the beginning of the end for the Sussex power couple? Let's break down the receipts. Let's start with a huge bombshell report by Daily Mail's Alison Boshoff that has royal watchers buzzing. According to multiple insiders, the American dream Harry and Meghan set out to build back in 2020 has hit a serious wall. Search interest in the couple in the US has reportedly plummeted, their massive Spotify deal collapsed, and their high-profile Netflix projects have faced major delays and quiet endings. The reality: capitalizing on royal titles in Hollywood is a lot harder than it looked on paper. The couple recently purchased a holiday home in Portugal, but insiders claim this isn't just a vacation spot, it's a strategically placed staging post. Portugal places Harry just a short flight from London without requiring a full-time residential commitment that triggers high-level British tax or security legal battles right away. Word is, Harry's heart has always remained in England. While he went along with the California dream during the height of their honeymoon phase, commentators note the veil is lifting. He wants a quiet life focused on philanthropy, his British roots, and getting his kids, Archie and Lilibet, connected with his father, King Charles. Meghan, on the other hand, she's still dead set on lifestyle branding, Hollywood dominance, and commercial ventures. Two completely different paths, and they're colliding hard.
Well, indeed. And how does any of this add up? Because you had Meghan briefing over the trip to the UK. Oh, no, of course, she's not going to be the one to unveil the children, which is nonsense in itself, given we know how much she's used them on her Instagram account. While at the same time, Harry's friends saying, oh, no, he wants the kids to see them at work during the Invictus, which means, of course, they have to be unveiled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, to me, that even sounds, just like trying to optimize their children to make more money, to have more coverage, to really put all eyes on you. And it just sounds like you're trying to really get this heightened sense of popularity by let's unveil the children now. Ta-da, here they are. Dan, make this make sense for me, please. I don't understand.
Well, do you want to know my theory on it all? I think there are two things going on, P. Dinah. So, yes, the first is the unhappiness within the marriage. Anyone who has been a regular viewer of this channel knows that he is miserable, right? Like the veil has fallen from his eyes. Sure, he believes in keeping the family together, but certainly he doesn't enjoy spending time with Meghan Markle. He's not a happy man at the moment. And of course, Lady Colin Campbell reporting this week that that's why he is finding some solace in a local female friend. So you've got that going on, While at the same time, P. Dinah, I think, and I'm sorry to come back to it and hark back to it, but I genuinely believe all of this is driven by money. That is the only reason he wants to come back to the United Kingdom. It's not like there's been any sort of serious change. He was more than happy to slam the British people, to decry us as racist, to suggest that we were backward, to claim that we hated his wife. He was more than happy to do that when he believed, P. Dinah, he was never going to need to come back. And for me, the money situation is twofold. It's the fact that there is this dawning realization that Hollywood is not simply going to write blank checks anymore, that they are not part of the entertainment and sporting and influential fashion community that they hope to be in the US. And then that's also connected to the security issue too, because the more and more they pile the pressure on about getting the UK security coverage, as I have been constantly reporting, and I'm the only one to report this, Pete Dinah, and it drives me nuts. If he gets what he wants and he gets the RAVEC protection, the way that RAVEC works is you are protected wherever in the world you are. So all of a sudden, Pete Dinah, not only is it giving him that open passage to come to the UK as much as he wants, it's also allowing him to wipe $3 million off their annual expenditure. And trust me, they have to wipe that $3 million off the annual expenditure. That's what it is believed they are paying at the moment, P. Dinah, to the private security company. But remember, there's extra costs if, for example, there are trips overseas which aren't covered by the government in question. I mean, certainly my belief is when it came to Ukraine, the government paid. When it came to Colombia, the government paid. But the RAVEC protection, P. Dinah, would allow them to travel wherever they wanted in the world. And as I say, I'm sorry to hark on about this, but people don't understand for some reason. Tony Blair's barely in the UK. You know, he's making money all over the world, Pete Dinah. He hasn't been prime minister in well over a decade. Wherever he goes, okay, be it Israel, be it the Middle East, be it the United States of America, British taxpayers are paying and funding his entire armed security operation. So, as I say, that's why I think Harry is not giving up on the security thing, because he needs it. He needs it because it means they never have to worry about security costs again. That's why I believe it's so important the British government do not give in.
Which brings us to the marriage misery headlines that have taken over commentators like Dan Wooten, Kinsey Schofield, and GB News panelists. Why are people talking about a split? Look at the public appearances over the last year. They used to be joined at the hip. Remember, we operate like salt and pepper, we always move together? Well, the salt and pepper have been separated. Harry has been making long, solo international tours, New York, London, Africa, Lesotho. Meanwhile, Meghan has been spotted solo at red carpet galas in Beverly Hills and launching her lifestyle arm. Their teams branded this a professional separation, a strategy to build independent prestige. But royal commentators aren't buying it as just a PR pivot. Insiders allege a deep values disconnect.
Well, what more can happen? I mean, why is this something that is even on the table to even talk about? Has he been given some kind of leeway that, okay, well, just maybe it might happen? Like, why is this even still something that he can start trying to get, going again?
Well, again, without wanting to get too political here, P. Dinah, there was bad news for Prince Harry yesterday. So we saw the images of King Charles, his father, farewelling the UK Prime Minister, very hated UK Prime Minister Slippery Starmer, welcoming in the new dude, Andy Burnham. But then Andy Burnham later in the day revealed that there was not going to be a change of Home Secretary. Now, it's the Home Secretary, P. Dinah, a woman called Shabana Mahmood, who is responsible for the Home Office and responsible for the security decisions in regard to Prince Harry. Harry's hope was that this new Prime Minister would mean a new Home Secretary, a new chance to lobby the government. That didn't happen. Mahmood kept the job. And what's interesting, P. Dinah, as the Sunday Mirror's reporting over the weekend, is that Shabana Mahmood and the Home Office are furious about Harry's emotional blackmail attempts and the way that they tried to bounce the Home Office into reversing the security decision. So this reporting was directly briefed to Russell Myers, the royal editor of the Sunday Mirror, by Prince Harry's team. And they announced that Harry is to continue his controversial campaign, demanding taxpayer-funded security. They say he was buoyed by that reunion with the king, and sources have revealed he wants to arrange further meetings. So you see the blackmail there. It's like, oh no, he's got to see his dad, and everyone wants to keep the king happy, and the prime minister needs to keep the king happy. And so here's the critical line. Harry now plans to continue to lobby the Home Secretary, that's Mahmood, to complete an urgent review into his security after he sent the department a report from his private security company claiming he is a terror target. But this is the new information, P. Dina. Sources suggest this is from the government. The Home Office was further angered. So not only angered, further angered. In other words, they already hate Harry. Now they really hate Harry because of his behavior. Remember, he leaked that report, and it was a ludicrous report to Chris Shipp of Wokai TV. And Myers reports that they believe that the Duke announced his itinerary, and I think this is true, P. Dina, in the hope of forcing the government to grant them security, which was removed when they left the royal family. Now, it gets even more nuts because he then spoke on the record via a spokesman for this story, saying the Duke continues to make the case that he and his family face an enduring security risk by virtue of the circumstances of his birth and his membership of the royal family. The threats that existed while he was a working member of the institution did not simply vanish when he stepped back from official duty 6 years ago. They remain, and the most recent threat assessment underscores the continuing nature of those risks. So it's like, he ain't backing down. He's just continuing the fight. And, you know, a lot of royal commentators, P. Dina, including stateside, are starting to get nervous. And I think the reason they're starting to get nervous is they do see this fundamental weakness from King Charles, which people don't like, but I have been reporting on for some time, like our friend Lee Cohen, a stateside royal commentator for the likes of The Spectator and the Daily Telegraph, who wrote, no matter what the poisonous grifters are eyeing, it's never going to happen unless, of course, the palace simply abandon any concerns for the reputation of the monarchy moving forward. If the cancerous couple are welcomed back, it will be impossible to respect the crown. So the stakes are high, P. Dina.
Yeah, I think that the king needs to get a really strong backbone. I think the monarchy is going to not be as respected. You know, the more leeway Harry gets, the more and more people are not going to respect the institution, because where are the boundaries? Where are you're going to put a draw a line in the sand that, look, this is what it is. But I think Harry knows his father. He knows as much as he can start to try to change things with his dad, then the more he's likely to get. And I think that's what he's relying on. That's something he's probably more than likely been doing since childhood. I'm sure his father has said no many of times, but then, eventually he always gets what he wants. This is why we have the man that we have as a child, because he's never had to face consequences. And I think he is going to definitely bring the institution into not a good look, because he is someone that doesn't abide by the rules. He doesn't adhere to what is required of him. And that's a problem. And I can see that the king is just not going to, I think, upstand his rule. And I think William needs to be the one making all of the decisions from here on out. Anything to do with Harry, it needs to go to William, because he'll know how to address it. The king won't, as a father. Absolutely not.
P. Dina, do you understand why there is some growing doubt in our community about whether Harry and Meghan were even in the UK? Now, my view is that they were, and indeed it's very helpful that the point that I've been making for months and months and months was proven, which is that the paparazzi and citizen journalists here are pretty easygoing, and there was never going to be a security threat, and as long as they kept a low profile, they wouldn't be seen. That's my view. But Lauren the Insider, for example, disagrees with my feeling on this. Don't miss a single update on the stories that actually matter. I'm breaking down the news every day, so make sure you subscribe to never miss a beat. Click that subscribe button right now. So, P. Diner, look, it is certainly an interesting theory. I totally understand why there is so much doubt. And unfortunately, the palace has to take a huge amount of responsibility here. It's like, you go down and you wrestle the pigs, you're going to end up with fleas. You know what I mean? That is the reality of what we're dealing with here. And it has belittled the trust and the faith in the British royal family. But I just have a different argument, P. Diner, which is that no one really cares about them and they can travel completely safely in the United Kingdom, just like they travel completely safely, like, Meghan Markle going to Christine in Chicago. No one cares.
Yeah, that's what it is. No one cares. So, of course, no one's not going to have a camera phone out for someone that they're just like, okay. Like, no one really is paying them much attention. So I can see that. Absolutely. I think he's given himself way too much importance. And, he's not all that. Certainly not. So I think Harry just wants to feel like he is. And yeah, part of it is the money and part of it is he wants to, feel like he is able to compete with his brother, because I think that is also part of it. He feels entitled because his brother is getting something, that he gets it because he wrote about it. Like, this is something that is very meaningful for Harry, and he can certainly come and go without being noticed. But at the same time, he wants to feel very important and similar to what his brother has.
And P. Diner, do you
just
think...
look at the podcast.
Well, yeah.
He's like always copying his brother.
I know.
Right?
I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that, actually, because that was astonishing. But P. Diner, do you think that Meghan's disappearance at the moment is strategic, or is it because the strains between the pair of them are so significant?
I don't think it's strategic at all. I think Meghan is on the down low with everything because she's afraid. I think she knows people are not feeling her. I think there are problems with her and Harry. Absolutely. I mean, he can't even mention, his wife when he's talking to people about, being, who he is, like he's a father, but he doesn't mention that he's a husband. So Meghan and Harry are having problems. She's keeping her distance. She wants nothing to do, I think, with what he is doing, and vice versa. This is just something they're going to have to try to work through, because this is new territory for them in terms of this dynamic of their relationship and communication publicly when they're not getting along behind the scenes. Like, how do you do this? How do you really fake it when there's so much tension? And I think it's just one of those things that just happens naturally. When you're not getting along, you are keeping away because you're not happy. And I don't think Meghan is happy at all. How could she be? I mean, look, the girl's whole has ever is crumbled. Harry's talking about going back. How does Meghan feel about that? I heard that she wants to go back. No, she don't. No, she doesn't. I mean, look, this girl is trying to do everything she can to have an independent life with a career in Hollywood. That's what she's going after. That's what she wants.
Harry reportedly hates the Hollywood papstruts and exploiting family moments for brand content. Meghan reportedly views these media moves as essential to keep their multi-million-dollar lifestyle afloat. When Harry was bluntly asked about the constant divorce rumors by Andrew Ross Sorkin at the New York Times summit, he tried to laugh it off, saying, "We've apparently bought or moved house 10, 12 times. We've apparently divorced 10, 12 times. I feel sorry for the trolls." Laughing it off is standard PR, but when a prince has to publicly address divorce rumors on a global business stage, the fire behind that smoke is massive. Now, what about the royal family? If Harry is plotting a return, is the monarchy even holding the door open? Well, the ice is thawing, but under extreme conditions. Reports recently leaked that a discreet meeting took place between the Sussex communication team and King Charles's team, leading to a private family reunion where King Charles finally got to spend quality time over tea with Archie and Lilibet at Highgrove. It was described as an olive branch. But don't expect a full half-in, half-out royal roll anytime soon. Palace insiders make it crystal clear. 1. Zero commercial leaks, no Netflix camera crews, no tell-all book sequels, no podcasts detailing private conversations. 2. Prince William's firm line. While King Charles holds a father's warmth, Prince William remains deeply protective of the monarchy's stability. Reports suggest William will firmly oppose any official royal role or taxpayer-funded perks for the couple. The true test of Harry's UK return is going to center around one event, the 2027 Invictus Games in Birmingham. This is Harry's ultimate passion project, bringing the Games back to UK soil for the first time in over a decade. But even that is facing severe backlash. Critics in the UK are raising questions about the massive security costs, and commentators are warning that if Meghan takes center stage or tries to lead parades like in past games, public backlash could reach an all-time high. Harry is caught between a rock and a hard place: save his relationship and brand in America, or reclaim his heritage, his family ties, and his life's work in the UK. The bottom line: the narrative has officially flipped. The Megxit era of total exile is cracking, and Harry appears to be looking for a way home, whether his marriage survives the transition or not. What do you think? Is Harry genuinely plotting a return to Britain, or are these professional split tactics just another PR gamble? And should the royal family welcome him back? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update on the royal family and celebrity news.